Section 1. Stand-up striking. Stand-up striking refers to the art of striking and defending against strikes from a standing position. Each striking art has a set stance or series of stances, as well as a specific style of movement that is used. My background is in boxing and Muay Thai, although there are techniques from Taekwondo and other arts included in my skill set. The first thing that a person learns in stand-up striking is stance. Stance includes foot placement, knee bend, hand positioning, and head positioning. Each stand-up art has a different type of stance or multiple stances. I use a basic staggered stance that is applicable for MMA and striking. There are two variations, the striking stance and the movement stance. I also commonly use the side stance. There are other stances incorporated from time to time, but these are the basic stances that I use. For this manual, I will use an orthodox or right-handed stance. The techniques apply to a southpaw or a left-handed stance as well, simply in reverse positioning. The basic staggered stance for striking. Figure 1. This is the basic staggered stance that I use when striking. The hand position is high to the face for protection. I am looking forward at my opponent. My hips point at an angle, as does my rear foot. My front foot is forward, although a slight angle is okay. From here, I can roll my punches and deliver power. This stance allows for solid kicking with the rear leg and allows for kick checking, blocking, with the front leg. Figure 2. This is the side shot of that same position. Figure 3. Opposite side shot of the basic staggered stance used for striking. Figure 4. A close-up shot of the foot positioning. The basic staggered stance for movement. Figure 5. The basic staggered stance for movement is a position in which a person is on the balls of their feet and light on their feet. This allows quick movement and facilitates evasion and stick-and-move type tactics. The stance is narrower than the basic staggered stance for striking. The reason for this is that it allows ease of movement. A person can move with the striking stance, but this person uses a type of plodding that does not facilitate quickness or ease of movement. While I do use plodding at some points, when it is time to move quickly and efficiently, I am light on my feet. Figure 6. Side shot of the basic staggered stance for movement. Figure 7. Other side shot for the basic staggered stance for movement. Figure 8. Close-up shot of foot position. Note the difference from this stance and the more squared striking stance. To learn more about stance, you can watch the video appropriately titled Basic Stance, and for more about movement, you can watch this video. YouTube hosts the videos, but they are also available on my website, nathandemetz.com. Striking with punches. A punch is the most basic strike there is. In most stand-up striking arts, some form of the punch is the first strike that a person will learn. Variations abound, and for the purpose of this manual, I will be using a boxing method of punching stylized for MMA and kickboxing. The primary focus for punching is the 6 basic punches: jab, cross, front hook, rear hook, front uppercut, and rear uppercut. Notice that I do not denote punches as left and right, but rather front and rear. The reason for this is that the punches change based on orthodox or southpaw stance. For example, the left straight punch from the orthodox stance is the jab, while the left straight punch from southpaw is the cross. Front and rear are universal terms. If I say rear, you know to throw with your rear hand. If I say front, you know to throw with your front hand. For ease of learning, regardless of stance, I prefer these terms when I train folks. The straight punches, jab, and the cross. Figure 9. The jab starts from our basic staggered stance for striking. Notice my hands held high, my gaze forward, and my chin tucked. Figure 10. The jab comes straight out from the body. Notice that the back of my hand faces upwards, my gaze is forward, my chin is tucked, and my shoulder turned over to facilitate the full range of the punch. Figure 11. Return to start position. Remember that the hand should not stay extended for long. As quickly as the punch goes out is as quick as it should return to the start position. Figure 12. The cross comes from the basic staggered stance for striking, same as the jab. Figure 13. The cross comes straight out from the body. Notice that the back of my hand is rotated upwards, my gaze is forward, my chin is tucked, and my shoulder turned over to facilitate the full range of the punch. Figure 14. Return to the start position. The hooks, front and rear. Figure 15. The hooks come from the basic staggered stance for striking, same as the straight punches. Figure 16. The hook travels slightly upward and across in the process of aiming for an opponent's cheek. To begin the front hook, there will be a rear rotation of the body and a slight dip of the shoulder and arm pictured here. Figure 17. The top position of the arm should be near parallel or parallel to the ground. In this image, I am near parallel. This is the front hook since I am in an orthodox stance. Figure 18. The rear hook starts from the same position as the front hook and rotates in much the same way. You will have a greater path to travel since it starts further back. Figure 19. In this image, I have thrown the rear hook. It is in the top position and parallel to the ground. Figure 20. I return to the start position. Uppercuts, front and rear. Figure 21. This is the starting position for the uppercut. It is the same as the starting position for all the other punches. Figure 22. The uppercut travels upward and in as you aim for the opponent's chin. To begin the front uppercut, there will be a rear rotation of the body and a slight dip of the shoulder and arm pictured here. Figure 23. As my body rotates forward, my front hand moves slightly out from my body and arcs in an angle toward the face. It does not come right up the middle, but rather travels at an angle with my target the chin of my opponent. Figure 24. The rear shot moves in the same way. The rear uppercut starts from the same position as the front hook and rotates in much the same way. You will have a greater path to travel since it starts from further back. Figure 25. Return to the start position. Any of these punches can attack an opponent's face or body. I am not illustrating the body punches here since, as I mentioned in the beginning, I am assuming you have a previous base in striking. This is simply a quick review so that you know the moves that will be included when we get to the meat of the manual. A quick word about defense. You will notice that a section on defense is missing from here. This is due to two reasons. 1. Textual limitations by the publisher, and 2. The assumption that you already have a basic knowledge of boxing and defensive maneuvers. If you do not, then I suggest you look over How to Kickbox for Beginners or another book or series of videos that review how to pillar, bob and weave, rock back, hook block, and other defensive maneuvers such as evasion. The point of this text is not to give you an in-depth view of all the various martial arts moves included here, but rather to give you an idea of how to combine them into one cohesive art known as mixed martial arts. The reviews I offered above specifically relate to combinations and techniques used further on in the manual. Simple punch combos for MMA. All right, here we are. Now that we have done a quick review of the basic punches for boxing and kickboxing, we can get into some moderate combos for MMA. Since I am assuming you know basic combos such as the 1-2 combo and double hooks, I will pass those over. Let us start with the 1-2-3-4 or the jab, cross, front hook, rear hook. 1-2-3-4, jab, cross, front hook, rear hook combo, not pictured. This is a basic combo. You should have learned it early on in boxing and possibly kickboxing, depending on the focus of the teacher. Regardless, you can get a feel for it here. Start in stance, a little more squared up for striking. Throw the jab. As the jab comes back to start, throw the cross. As the